All right, Bob, you sent over one more video. This looks like we're going back to the robots, and this is pretty exciting to see this process because it does look very precise, and I'm curious to know how this one is set up and operated.
Yeah, this is an example of this particular example I really enjoy. It's one that we've put together to do some automation. So we had a company that was spraying parts, and they were spraying up to sheets that were 4 foot by 8 foot. And the time it took for the operator to grit blast and then spray them was about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we built an automation line for them, and we're only showing this part of it, which is the spray part of it. But it's a conveyor system where we hang the sheets from the conveyor, and it ran it through an automated grit blast machine and into this spray room. So we went from 2 hours and 15 minutes to spray a 4 by 8 sheet down to 18 minutes from when it
Wow.
entered the grit blast machine till it exited here. In this particular case, this isn't a sheet, it's a smaller piece, but we can handle, on this particular one, we can handle 4 foot wide up to 20 foot long. And the consistency and the properties and everything was just phenomenal. Now, I got into a little trouble with this with material. I was supplying the wire for this particular customer. And after about 8 months, they found that they had a large inventory of wire. Well, it turns out they're using 40% less wire. So the company I represent with the wire, I had to explain to them that I created the problem where I'm selling less wire. At any rate, so the other really cool thing about this is also twin wire electric arc. What's different about this is real time. With the speed you see on this thing is the actual speed it was spraying at. And this is a push-pull system. So the two devices that you see number 1 and number 2 on, those are pull guns. And you'll see in the bottom right corner the tops of the wire feed units. And in between there are those cables. And you watch how fast those cables go up and down and how this thing just kept on spraying and didn't skip a beat. That's actual
Wow.
speed right there.
Yeah,
And those cables did not clog up or didn't create problems.
that's incredible.
So needless to say, the customer was thrilled with this installation, and the return on investment was very quick. And the only downside to it is I sell them less wire today than I used to.
But yeah, you saved them a lot of time though. This process definitely sped things up. So I mean, time is money, and I'm sure that there's in that process, that exchange, they're definitely thankful.
Well, yeah, and again, this is one operator running both grit blast and running the thermal spray. In the manual operation, even though it was 2 hours and 15 minutes, it was two different people. One person was grit blasting, one person was spraying. So I guess you could use one person to do both. But either way, you went from 2 hours and you cut almost 2 hours off. However you want to look at it, what's 2 hours of operator time? Plus, at the end of the day, this operator's refreshed. He loves watching this thing operate. He's not lifting the
Yeah.
gun anymore.
Who's responsible for assembling these things? That's an interesting. I don't know. Is that somebody you have outside, or like, is there a company that does this?
What we've done is Thermal Spray Depot actually comes up with what the design is, what we want it to do. And I work with integrators. So I have a few that I use. One guy out of Texas in particular I really like who did this one. He understands thermal spray. He understands how to do the automation. I understand the material properties. And it turns out it's a really good working relationship in that I understand the metallurgical properties, the materials, what we want to do, and I can outline for him exactly what the automation to do. And it helps him with his job in that then he can put together the equipment and the programming to get accomplished what we want to do. Oftentimes, I kind of act like the interpreter. I understand what the customer wants within properties, but sometimes the customer doesn't fully know how to get there. So I can help him get there by asking a lot of questions and just really understanding what he wants us to do. When everything is done and the part's out in their customer hands, what does that material have to do in service? And then we back into the right material and what the right process to do it. And what automation we can do to get there. If you saw anything today with the automation or the processes that has your interest, give us a call at Thermal Spray Depot at 724-229-5791 or drop us a line at info@thermalspraydepot.com.